Welcome back to Big Movie Mouth Off, the podcast where three Salt Lake City-based critics fret about film. I'm Jeff Counts.
I'm Brooks Bird.
And I'm Adam McDonald.
This is episode 37. We have a show that doesn't really have a theme this time. It's not a horror show. There's no overarching meta for this episode, but we're going to review, of course, two movies. The first will be Ballerina. I refuse to say the John Wick part of the title,
Yeah.
but it does involve the John Wick universe. We're also going to review How to Train Your Dragon, the live action remake of the very well-regarded DreamWorks title. And our guilty pleasure for this show will be, of course, gentlemen, live action remakes, because we haven't done that before. And there are plenty of bad ones to be excited about. Then we'll do our coming attractions. Let's jump right in to Ballerina. Brooks is going to take us through that synopsis. But first, here's part of the trailer.
In Slavic mythology, the Kikimara is a spirit that exists in the shadows. To those with darkness in their hearts, she can be vengeful. But to the innocent, she can be a protector. It's up to you to choose.
Okay, Brooks, tell us about Ballerina.
Well, it's pretty simple. It's, as we said, a John Wick movie. So we've got Ana de Armas as Eve Macaro. She's a ballerina, and her dad gets killed at the beginning. She wants revenge. She gets taken under the wing of the Chancellor's who kills her dad, played by Gabriel Byrne, who was nice to see on screen again.
It was.
It was kind of a nice change. But taken under the wing of Winston Scott. That's who. Ian McShane. So he's back as well. And she takes her to the director, Angelica Houston, and everything gets put into play. And years later, it doesn't specify how long, but she is being trained to be an assassin.
The first thing I want to bring up about this is, and I don't think this is going to spoil anything because you see it in the trailer, John Wick is actually in this movie. It's not just in his world. He's in the film as a main character. And to me, guys, that felt like a signal to us that they didn't feel like the story was good enough without him.
And they were right. Spoiler alert.
We know how Brooks feels about this.
Well, I mean, I didn't hate it. I don't think that there was even close to enough for her to be on her own. And so they needed something to clog up the other half of the movie. And it would have been fine if it could have lived up to the John Wick series itself. But Len Wiseman is no Chad Stileski.
That is true, but Adam, did it actually help? Brooks thinks he was necessary, but did it actually help this movie?
So this was my biggest complaint about this movie was no, you did not need John Wick in this movie. Now there is a cameo, which is super cool. And I love that cameo because it actually, you can look at it from a different point of view than you saw in, I want to say it was John Wick 2. So that was awesome. That's all you needed. But then for him to show up at the end and kind of Deus Ex Machina the whole thing, like you didn't let her stand on her own and do her own thing. And she was fun. She was cool. She wasn't just like female John Wick. Like she had her own thing. Like she had the same motivation. I mean, they didn't kill her dog, but it's
revenge.
And it's revenge. Yeah, we've all seen those. So I felt that making him a part of it was probably the worst thing they could have done. And honestly, because the John Wick movies take place over like a couple weeks, isn't it? It's not very long. Like, was he on a smoke break in between assassination attempts that he had time to come do this? Like, no.
Why is he even here? How did he get here?
I had no idea how he was able to take on a gig. I don't know how that works at all based on everything he was going through.
I want his timeline. I want to know what he's doing that I can maybe clone myself, because as we record this, I'm a half hour late because of other stuff I was dealing with. But if there was a second me, it could come over here and record while I'm being annoyed with work. So.
Well, the very fact that we're questioning his timeline and how he could have fit this into all the other stuff he was going through, I think proves my point that having him in this movie was complicated in a way that did not help her story. And look, can Ana de Armas carry a whole movie by herself? We're not going to know. We didn't get to see it. I think she could. I think that story was interesting enough. I mean, let's be honest. These are not high art, these movies, but it was interesting enough that she would have been fine without him. And it seemed like a panic. Like they blinked and they said, somebody call Keanu. I'm not feeling good enough about this. And I, for one, feel like it was a mistake.
I think what bugged me more about this was just that it felt like a best of clips from all the John Wick movies. So,
Mm,
she goes and she chases people through a club. Well, we saw that in the first John Wick and the second one. I think even
It's
the
true.
third one. She goes through this huge castle at the end to fight the boss. We've seen that how many times? Like just running upstairs or doing anything else. So I wanted to see something in this world, and that's why it's from the world of John Wick. But this just felt like, actually, I'll take a letter from you, a page from you counts. It felt like John Wick DLC.
Yeah. Brooks, what do you think this movie does for the lore? Because John Wick is a property that we're going to have around for a while. I don't think it's going anywhere. I'm not sure if they're going to do another Ballerina or not. Time will tell. But what do you think this movie does for the overall lore?
I don't think it does anything because it doesn't show us anything we haven't seen before. I
Yeah.
mean, the, Ian McShane shows up and takes her back, and she goes to the ballerina school. We've seen that. It ends with exactly how you think it will and doesn't set anything up for the future. So, like you said, they're not going to make another one. And speaking of, I want to know, it kind of brings up to me the issues with the plot itself because with us already complaining about John Wick being in it as much as he is and how unnecessary he should have been, it definitely feels like it was completely tacked on because with how much Lance Reddick is in that movie, he died in 2023,
I know.
early 2023, two
Yeah.
years ago. What
Mhm.
has this movie been doing?
It's obviously been sitting on a shelf.
It's either been sitting on a shelf or they chopped the end of it off and made a new one.
Yeah, it could be. It was good to see him, though, wasn't it?
Oh, yes. But
Well,
that,
and
that was the first thing I said. I looked over at Billy, my guest, and I said, how long ago was this made?
Yeah.
Well, and there's also, I think they were waiting to see maybe how the Continental did when it came out because they kind of did that one first on whatever
Oh,
streaming
yeah.
it was, and no one liked it. So maybe they were like, "Oh wow, we got to make sure we get the bad taste out of people's mouths before we put this out because we don't want them to be tainted." I mean, and right now it did make its budget back, but
Mm.
as far as if there's a sequel, who knows after marketing, and it does leave it open for a sequel
It
in
does.
the exact same way that John Wick 2 ended or 1, whatever it was. So again, it's just John Wick DLC.
I agree with Brooks. It doesn't make a sequel inevitable. I don't think they set it up so that it has to happen, but it certainly leaves the door open, of
Yeah.
course.
It
The
doesn't
reason-
make you want it to happen.
No, and the reason I asked the question about the lore is because I think they've squeezed about as much blood from this turnip as there is, and I'm not sure that there's a lot left in terms of storytelling in this universe, world, whatever you want to call it. And this movie to me proves that. I think they made a mistake by not allowing the film to focus on its own new central character by wedging John Wick into it just to save her, not just to save her from the bad guys, but to literally save her from her own movie. It was a double white knighting that was completely unnecessary and kind of offensive. But I don't think there's a lot of great stories left to tell in this. It's why the TV show didn't do well, Adam.
I think there are some good stories. It just kind of I don't know. I love this universe so much, so I guess I'm kind of partial to that because I kind of came to the game late. I came and saw the first one right before we saw the screening for the second one, and I was like, "Where has this been all my life? Why did I wait so long?"
That's how I was. Yeah, I saw the first one right before the second one.
Yeah, it's like when I finally saw Rocket Man, which is a movie completely up my alley, and my buddy's like, "You need to watch this." I'm like, "But you're straight and you don't like musicals." He's like, "I love Elton John," so.
Oh, I thought you were talking about the other Rocket Man.
No, but I was like, why did I wait so long? And that's kind of how I felt with the first John Wick. And it still holds up for the most part. I mean, it's dated, but I want to see more stories in this universe. But either one, you got to start completely over and not include John Wick in it. You got to do complete spin-offs where he's not going to show up as the Angel of Death, doing things that don't make sense for John Wick himself, by the way.
Exactly.
Like decisions that were made, he would not make. Or just take it off with him and find out, he's done everything he can and he's quote unquote dead, but we know he's not dead. That's
I was
not
gonna say,
happen.
didn't they say they're doing a John Wick 5?
They're doing a
They
5, yeah.
are, yes.
So you either got to completely do a new thing with it, or you got to go back and make sure that John Wick himself is not part of it. We do start how the Assassin Brotherhood started. I don't know.
Like total prequel.
Total prequel, like Assassin's Creed type thing.
All of these kinds of movies have a little 10-minute prequel scene at the beginning. They would need to really go back far to get to the very, very beginnings of this story. I do think that's interesting, but I need to be convinced that there's more in this world that's worth paying attention to. And Adam, you didn't just convince me, sorry, but I want you to be right because I love those originals so much.
Well, I didn't say you had to be right, or I was trying to convince you. I was just saying
Good, because
that's
you failed.
maybe what they could do. I mean, hey, people, from Lionsgate or whoever makes these, you listen to the podcast and give us money so we can quit our day jobs.
We've been saying that since the first show, so that holds true even
Hey,
still.
we're getting more listeners every week. That's all I know.
I love it. I love it. All right, let's go to scores on this one. I will go first. The DLC line, I didn't even think of it myself. Adam, thank you for giving me credit for it.
Hey,
But
you made it up though back in the day.
I think
So
I think it applies here. And look, for a DLC to be as good as the original game, it's got to do something different. And that's something this movie absolutely does not even attempt to do. There's nothing different or new in it. I still wish they'd let the story have its own space and not lean on the legacy character. But even without that mistake, I'm not sure the story would have risen above 2.5. I had fun. I thought the fighting was elegantly designed and enjoyable. There just wasn't anything new. So they did something that was a repeat, but they did it pretty well. I'm at 2.5. Adam, where are you?
right there, 2.5. I can't say it any better than that. Was I walked out, I had a good time. I saw some things I wish weren't there. I didn't see some things I wish were there. I think the biggest sin that it makes is we just didn't let her have her own movie. We didn't need that extra thing from John Wick, and it's always fun to see him in his movies. I guess if that wouldn't have been there, maybe it may have been lower because who knows how they were going to end it. And maybe they had to try to fix it, like you said, Brooks. But I'm not going to go buy it. I don't ever plan on watching it again. But I'm glad I did. You know, it was it. Yeah.
Brooks, how about you?
I'm not sure what else there is to say, as Adam said, because I mean, yeah, I'm not gonna buy it. I have all 4 John Wicks, but even then, I don't know. I just after watching this one, it just is so petered out now. And I never bothered with the Continental because I heard how not great it was.
Yeah,
It did
same.
not do well.
And then now I'm like, do I even really care about the other 4 John Wicks to begin with at this point?
It's making you
But
retcon your own enthusiasm for the series?
I would say all but at least the first one. It's still my
Wow.
favorite. It's just so raw.
Yeah.
I don't know. There's something about the first one that I just like the most. But I'm just gonna have to stick with you guys in 2.5 because it doesn't really add anything. It doesn't completely take away anything, but it had a lot to do and it just kind of skated through the motions.
All right. So 2.5s all around. I have a feeling this next conversation is going to be a little bit more polarized. We're talking about the live action remake of How to Train Your Dragon. Adam gets to tell us what this movie's about, as if that were necessary. Let's do our due diligence, though, and hear some of the trailer.
We're all descendants of the finest dragon fighters from everywhere the Vikings ever traveled. These beasts are a threat to all of our lands. It's time, Hiccup.
I have to kill you. I will because I'm a Viking. Hear that? I'm a Viking!
Okay, Adam, explain again what How to Train Your Dragon is about.
This might be the quickest summation of a movie ever. So, if you've seen the original, you've honestly seen this one. You've got Hiccup, who is a Viking. He's played by Mason Thames. All the Vikings live together and fight dragons. He's kind of the underdog. And his dad, who's played by Gerard Butler, thinks he's not manly enough to fight dragons. Well, one night he shoots down a dragon called a Night Fury that he finds, names it Toothless, kind of brings it back and becomes his friend, trains it, and then he joins up with his friends to go fight the real dragons.
Much to the chagrin of the adults on the island.
Yes. And possibly everyone else who saw this movie but me. So,
Can we stipulate, for the record, the 3 of us, that this movie was completely unnecessary? Can we agree on that?
1000%.
100% agree.
That's agreed. It's on the record. Let's now talk about this experience in isolation, if we can. I felt like that the thing I was confronted with earliest and most acutely was that the dragon design of this world only works as animation.
They're exactly the same.
They're exactly the same, and they seem ridiculous next to actual people. But in an animated world, they're totally fine. The puffiness, the silliness, the farty, burpy kind of weirdness of it works really well when everything is drawn. But in this world, the CG versions of those dragons, I thought was completely off-putting. I couldn't get comfortable with them.
Maybe that's what my biggest problem is just I could never separate it. But yeah, it looks so fake from right out of the gate. As soon as it started, it was like 2 minutes in and I went, nope, I'm done. I've had it. And then it proceeded to go for another 2 hours and just made me hate it even more.
It is long, 2 hours, 10 minutes.
Yeah, it's even longer than the original.
Yeah,
And we started late because it took 5,000
Yeah.
years for everyone to get into the theater.
I believe
Yeah,
it.
I couldn't figure out what my biggest beef was, and then because obviously we recorded after the weekend, but this is Gus Van Sant's Psycho.
I was actually thinking about this when this movie came out, but go on.
That's what it is. It's shot for shot. That literally just took the storyboards from the original movies and filmed them with actors and CGI.
Brooks,
And
you are bringing up something that I think was the biggest flaw, the biggest mistake this movie made was hiring the exact same director.
yes, and the score, I mean, everything.
They should have given someone else an opportunity to put a new spin, at least a new visual spin on this. But it is a shot for shot remake, literally. So, which brings me to a question I have for you, Adam, since you, I think, liked this more than Brooks. We'll see if you liked it more than me. But do live action remakes have a job? Are they duty bound to do something different with the material, in your opinion?
I would say yes and no, and I think the no is the caveat of this film. You know, if you're going to do it over again, and try to tell me a new story,
Or
and
at least
I'm
do
going to
it
sound like a
better.
hypocrite down the road, but I'm saying this is normally how I approach these live action movies: is does it feel like a cash grab? Does it feel like, hey, we're just doing this because we know everyone's going to go see Lilo and Stitch? And I can't weigh in on that because I haven't seen it. Maybe when it comes out on streaming, I love Stitch so much I don't want to sully that image in my mind. So are we doing it just because, hey, we're trying to get new generation into this? We think we can make money? Or are we doing this because we have a new story to tell? Or do we want to touch up the story or do things differently? So yeah, there are different ways you can approach like these live action remakes. And generally speaking, I don't like it when it's the same story told over again. It's the Gus Van Sant Psycho, except that Anthony Perkins is a better actor than Vince Vaughn. I will go on record for saying that. I'm not
I
a
don't
big
think
Vince
anyone's
Vaughn
going to
fan.
argue with you on
Yeah.
that one.
No.
So yeah,
It's
those kind of movies normally do bug me.
This is all because they have the new world opening at Universal.
That's
That's what this
true.
is. This literally is what this is a 2 hour commercial.
Well, it felt like one because this could have been something new. It could have been like a story told in this world, same characters, same basic structure, but it could have been new. Instead, it felt like a second bite of the exact same apple, which felt predatory. It felt like they were just trying to take our money. I wonder if you guys liked the cast at all, because this is such an ensemble story. The casting really matters. And it looked like they tried to cast the live action characters with people that looked as much like the animated characters as possible. Yet another example of how nothing new was attempted. What'd you think of the cast, Brooks?
I didn't have a huge problem with the cast. Nick Frost felt underused, like they didn't let him be as good as he could.
I think Gerard Butler's just
Gerard
playing
Butler.
himself now.
Yeah, I mean, he came in, he looked fitter than he has in a while. I'll give him that. But which is kind of ironic playing a Viking. But yeah, everybody they literally just watched the animated movie and they said, "We'll do that."
Exactly, Brooks. Exactly. I'm saying that this actually wasn't acting. This was lip syncing. They were just
Imitating.
replaying characters that had already
Yeah.
been done. Did you think the cast was well put together, Adam?
No, I liked them. It's because the main character you care about is Mason and Nico as Hiccup and Astrid, respectively. Like they're the ones who matter. I mean, of course, you've got the character of Toothless, but that's a CGI thing. I am a big fan that we're more and more finally doing teenagers as teenagers. I
Yeah.
think we've kind of gotten past the point of the first Scream movie where we've got 40-year-olds playing 18-year-olds,
Hey,
and it's
now.
not an attack on Scream. That's
I know.
Buffy.
I
That's
mean, they even
back
made a
then.
joke about it. So.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, so I think it was they were perfectly fine. I had no problem with them. I think they did their roles respectfully and well. And this is where I'm going to become the hypocrite because, again, like you said, it's exactly what they saw in the first movie. And Bill Hader, you can't really replace him, but I don't feel he was trying to be Bill Hader, but that is what it is, how you take on to that. But this is where I'm going to become the hypocrite. And I've been
Okay.
promising this all episode. So I hate it when they just do a full-on, just straight shot-for-shot remake. I don't like the Psycho remake. I think I did when I saw it when I worked at Blockbuster. That's because I was just starting my film, my film college degree. Not that I don't have a college degree, but still. With this one, though, I just felt there was so much love for the original. And maybe it was a bit because the director had it too precious, which we've talked about that many times. But I didn't feel like, yeah, of course, there's the epic Universal thing, which my friend works there. Hi, how you doing? You don't listen. But I felt like
Shame.
yeah, it didn't feel like, hey, we're doing this just for that ride. I felt like the director came in, he's like, yes, I love this so much, I want to do it again. Maybe he was afraid to make changes because he was afraid of damaging what he'd done before and he loved it that much. So, as much as this breaks my cardinal rule of not changing anything or doing anything new, for me it worked somehow. It was just charming and fun and cute, and I love the original, so maybe I was just like, hey, this is exactly what I wanted, and maybe I didn't know I wanted it or needed it. So, despite the fact that it broke every rule known to man that I agree and think about with remakes, it just worked for me. I just walked out with a smile on my face, and no one was more surprised than me that that happened because we all know my thoughts on, Little Mermaid and Beauty and the Beast and all those other atrocities we've had to live through.
Atrocities. Well,
I
Adam,
know. Yeah,
I'm
DreamWorks says the new Disney.
I have to say, Adam, and I'll let Brooks speak for himself, but I do agree with you that the director's love for the subject comes through. I do
Mhm.
agree with you. I do think that that's present, and there's something to that. Do you agree, Brooks, with Adam on that?
Yeah, but maybe a little too much. And again, I think
Sure.
it maybe also the studio was worried that too much could change and didn't want to do that. I mean, it's based on a 2003 novel. Why didn't they maybe dive into the book?
Yeah.
And I mean, it's probably a series. There's no way there's only one book. Like, pull ideas from there. Like, Jurassic World Rebirth is taking things from the first book that didn't get used and they're implementing it into the new movie so that we can finally see it because now they have the budget, but still, at least it's something that we've wanted to see up on the screen instead of just what I have sitting behind me in 4K, Blu-ray, and 3D, and probably a DVD squeezed in there somewhere because they're combo
It's
packs.
the original's good enough to have that kind of shelf space devoted to it. It's really wonderful.
It
Adam,
is. Yeah, that one.
Adam, it's at least possible that the director is not at fault, that the studio said to him, hey, we're about to open this part of the park. Don't change a thing.
And
That's
that could be,
possible.
yes.
And that's forgivable. And honestly, in that context, it's nice how much love he brought to the project. But I can't help but be honest about how it feels in the moment. And it felt precious and maybe even a little lazy to me. And I just can't shake it. I thought the cast was fine. I especially liked the person playing Astrid.
Yeah.
She's got a very good intensity. I'm drawing a
And
blank on her name.
Nico
Adam.
Parker.
Thank you. That's right. She's got great intensity, great presence, steals a lot of camera. She's really, really good. I enjoyed her role in this, but I felt like the entire thing was just, it felt like a cash grab. Felt like they had their hand out. I don't know. Let's score this one. I'll be really curious to see where you two come down. I know where I am, but I'm going to go last just to see how I compare to you guys. Brooks, you're the maddest. You go first.
Well, I mean, it's the laziest movie of the year. I don't have anything nice to say about this, especially because I guess the one thing they did do a little different is they took Hiccup and somehow turned him into an angsty, broody teenager half the time, which was super obnoxious because that's not Hiccup. And
Wait, so they changed something, and your complaint was
One
they didn't
thing.
change anything.
but they didn't change it to anything good. They didn't bother to make it worthwhile, and it was only some of the time. And so it's just it had a lot of inconsistency
Teenagers
with the
have
character.
mood swings.
Oh yeah. So they should have, I guess, gone back to the storyboards and found something new to do, even to the slightest, instead of just breaking out the storyboards and making that movie again. So I'm giving it the lowest score we can because it's the movie I'm maddest at this year, and I hated every second of it because it just was so disappointing. Yeah, maybe I'm not mad. I'm just disappointed.
You're
But
at 0 stars.
yes.
Wow. Okay. Speaking of mood swings, Adam, where are you?
You're gonna make my score go up to offset yours now. No, I actually am at a 3.5.
Checks and
I
balances.
really,
Okay.
really love this. And
I can't decide which score is more preposterous, but please say
No, it just again it broke every rule in the book, but it felt charming to me. It felt heartfelt. I don't think it's a cash grab. I mean, maybe from the studio's aspect, but I felt like that's what they wanted, and he's like, "No, this is my baby." And yes, the being too precious is where my half point comes down, and it is a little bit too long. You know, that's always my complaint with most movies. I walked out with a big smile on my face, and I was like, I want to go see this again. So this one I will be buying when it comes out. Unlike the last movie, it worked for me. And is
Wow.
it perfect by any means? No. Is it the greatest thing ever made? No. Is it a rehash? Yes, but I liked it. I can't say
Good
anything
for
else.
you.
So 3.5, Adam. 3.5 for
Three and a
you.
half.
All right. Well, I'm kind of right in the middle of you guys. I think this movie is competent. It's professional. It is well executed, I suppose. I
It's a
just,
movie.
yeah, right. If we're talking about films that really do need to do something new, like was a standard we held Ballerina to, I hold this one to the same, and it didn't, so I can't help but punish it for that. So I'm at 2 stars. I think it's perfectly competent. I didn't leave as angry as Brooks, but I certainly wasn't giddy as you, Adam. So, Brooks, once again, your score,
It can take no stars from me.
Adam,
3.5.
and I'm at 2 stars. That's one of the largest spreads we've had in a while. That's some big movie mouth off disagreement in full effect right there. All right, well,
And see, what's so funny is I told you, Counts, you were going to split the vote.
You did.
After we saw it, I was like,
You did.
because Brooks was like right next to me and he stood up and like stormed off. I'm like, oh, I like this.
Well, I stormed off with some words, but they're not appropriate.
yeah, we're
I heard the words. I was there.
I know. I'm just saying they're not appropriate here.
We don't do explicit here, Brooks. That's our deal.
Exactly.
All right. Well, speaking of live action remakes, we're going to talk about other bad ones that we love in spite of themselves. We'll be right back. Stay with us. Welcome back. Episode 37 of Big Movie Mouth Off. I'm Jeff Counts.
I'm Brooks Berg.
And I'm Adam McDonald.
Guilty Pleasures. The subject this episode is live action remakes. Bad ones, but we love them. Brooks, you're up first.
Well, what's funny about mine is it's not bad, but it had absolutely no right to be as brilliant as it is. And of course, I'm talking about 2022's Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, that was fantastic.
Actually
Exactly.
is very good. It is very good. It had no right to be. You're right about that.
It's the Naked Gun for kids, which is perfect because Akiva Schaffer directed it, and now he's given us the Naked Gun, which the trailer dropped today, and it was everything I wanted, except it didn't have the theme music, which was kind of weird.
I can't remember how that Chipmunks movie did. Did it make its money back?
I think it was streaming only. Wasn't
Yeah,
it?
it went to streaming.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So they didn't believe in it.
Well, I think it was like they were still kind of worried about COVID a little
I think
bit.
it was COVID too.
It was
yeah.
early 2022.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was
Okay.
May, so
What's the name again?
Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers from 2022.
I saw it. I didn't remember the name, but I did remember really enjoying it. So that's a great one. I'll go next. My guilty pleasure comes from 2016. And here's the part where I'm hoping that you guys will give me a positive judgment on. It's a live action remake of a live action remake.
I mean, we didn't say it couldn't be that.
It's
So-
Dune?
No. I'm talking about 2016's Pete's Dragon. Now, the original Pete's Dragon from 1977 was live acted with an animated dragon. So I'm going to say that the CGI dragon is a live action remake of the animated Elliot the Dragon. Can I have this one?
Yes.
Yes.
If they can do How to Train Your Dragon, you can have Pete's Dragon.
Well, I thought that the dragon theme would be really helpful, and I wanted to talk about a remake that's a good one. Now, the thing, of course, that I love most about this movie is it comes from the mind of one of my favorite directors, David Lowery, and I know what you're going to say, Brooks. Go ahead and say it.
This is his only good movie?
No, it's not. That's not true. I loved Ghost Story. You guys pick on me for that all the time.
Go eat your pie and be quiet. No.
And I loved Ain't Them Bodies Saints, which is another movie he did with Rooney Mara many years before.
I remember sleeping through parts of that at Sundance.
Brooks, my score for you is 0 right now.
He likes you less than me.
Look, he took the original material and did something completely different with it.
Oh, yeah.
The main characters are kind of the same, the boy and the dragon, but everything else that happens is completely new. It's got a wonderful cast. Carl Urban, Bryce Dallas Howard, Robert Redford, if you can believe it. It's got a fabulous cast, and I love David Lowery's look. The movie did okay, but it didn't make a lot of money. I just don't think anybody cared about it back in 2016. But
I have
love
it.
You're up, Adam.
Okay, so this is kind of the one where it's kind of a remake, kind of not. But if we can do Ballerina, which is from the world of John Wick, I feel that we can do 2021's from the world of 101 Dalmatians, Cruella.
I knew it.
So It was I think
That's
that was
totally legal.
Yeah, that
Yes.
was was it the second movie that Disney Plus did where it was like $30 to buy it?
Yeah.
I think so, yeah.
Because
After
Mulan was the
Mulan,
first
right?
one, and
Yeah.
Mulan was my backup one just in case this didn't count. So the kind of that thing there, but it's an origin story, like how did Cruella de Vil become Cruella de Vil? I fully, absolutely love Emma Stone and everything she does. I thought she did a fantastic job in this. She pulled off the whole fashion thing really cool, that where she was the anti-hero, not so much the bad guy.
Hmm.
Emma Thompson is always great in everything she does. We had two Emmas here, and Emma Thompson really was playing this malevolent, evil character who you just hated to death. The actors who came in, they really looked at the characters and the performances from the original 101 Dalmatians, didn't really ape them. So they kind of took like some of the motions and some of the way they said things, but this one they did do it their own way. And it's just fun. Like I
Yeah.
walked out with
Yes. I love this
know,
movie.
with another smile on my face, much like I did with the last one, much to Brooks's chagrin. Um,
It's another
but
movie that had no right to be as good as it was.
right, but
Agreed.
I think
And
everyone
shouldn't have
just
been.
I think a lot of people hated on it because it was 101
Different.
Dalmatians. So we already had 101 Dalmatians, so we didn't need like another one. But it
But
was
good.
a perfectly fine little film, and it was funny and engaging. And I love a good anti-hero story, and especially if Emma Stone's doing it, I'll watch her read the phone book. So
I think that movie succeeded significantly based on
Oh,
its
yes.
casting. The casting
Mhm.
elevated the material. And obviously, when the material's camp, it's fun and it's hard to mess that up. But I agree with you. This movie is really,
yeah,
really very
and you
good.
had Craig Gillespie directing it, who we knew
Yeah.
that did the remake.
Oh,
He
yeah.
also did the remake of Fright Night. That's another one we could have picked as
Yep.
well. But that wasn't
That's true.
live
Yeah.
action.
But it's a
I, Tanya's wonderful. Dumb Money, on the fence about that one. Some people did, some people didn't. But
I thought Dumb Money was fine. If he'd never done anything else, I would have thought, oh, I'm interested in this person, but it's not his best film by a long shot.
No.
You know,
Yeah.
you guys bringing up that Mulan thing, I'd forgotten about that. If people don't recall this, they had this movie in the can, COVID hits, and they needed to put this movie out. The only way they could do it was on Disney Plus. So it released there first, and you had to pay for it, like
I believe,
significantly.
wasn't this the first press screening that got canceled too?
It was. That's exactly
Yeah.
right. Yep.
It was like the week before or something.
Yep. And fast forward, I don't know, was it a few months, a year when Nolan did Tenet and he refused to do this? It was in the theater. He didn't care. He was the guy
Whether
who,
you liked it or not.
I'm doing air quotes, saved cinema because he brought people back into the theaters. Well, anyways, I digress. Adam, your guilty pleasure was?
2021's From the World of 101 Dalmatians, Cruella.
Mine was 2016's Pete's Dragon by David Lowery. And Brooks, yours?
2022's Chippendale Rescue Rangers.
I'm going to watch it again, and I'm going to forget the title again. All right, let's jump into coming attractions. Adam, why don't you lead us off? What are you looking forward to?
So this one we haven't really seen or heard much of. We got a couple stills, but they've had some test screenings that have been very, very flattering and very much fun with this. I was a big fan of the first one, and I think we reviewed it and you guys weren't, but I'm talking about Mortal Kombat 2, which is the second film in the new series that started a couple years ago, which was odd because the first one didn't have the tournament that was called Mortal Kombat, which is the whole point of having this film. And it had some weird stuff. Finding the power within you was kind of strange. I'll totally give it that. It was not finding your animality level of Mortal Kombat Annihilation, but it gave me what I wanted from a Mortal Kombat film. It was fun. It was bloody. It was silly. Test audiences who've seen parts of this or however much, how are reacting to it better than the first one. So
I didn't care about the first one at all, but I will definitely go see the second one.
I like the first 15 minutes.
Yeah, that was good.
I mean,
You're
you got Carl Urban as Johnny Cage, so
I
that's
know.
like a point. That's a star right there.
Completely someone else.
It did. It seemed like a completely different film. It's like there was a handoff of the baton, like after the opening.
Well, James Wan produced it, so I'm still convinced he directed that scene.
Yeah, I think you might be right. Well, all right. That's a good one. I'm not looking forward to it, but I'm going to go see it, and I'll probably have a good time with it.
Hopefully.
The thing I'm looking forward to is something that's not coming out until much later, but I saw some stills that they just released about it because they just wrapped, and I'm talking about the live action version of Masters of the Universe.
I've heard good things. Yes.
I've heard
Yeah.
really good things. I was a He-Man guy when I was a kid, no doubt about it. So I'm really excited about this. I didn't expect live action to be my theme for my coming attraction as well, but I can't help it. Travis Knight directed it, Brooks. So he's the guy, he's done a lot of that animated stuff. Like he did Box Trolls,
Oh, didn't he do
Paranorman.
Kubo and the Strings?
He did.
You didn't
do
like that?
I
hate
loved it.
that movie.
I
Okay, so
loved it.
your opinion about Dragon is wrong then. So I like you less than counts.
That's the worst kung fu movie I've ever seen.
I loved Kubo. I think you're totally wrong about that. And I do like this director. This is not coming out till 2026. There's nothing except a couple
I
of
love
stills.
Box Trolls.
Okay. So you can't be anti Travis Knight if you like that movie.
I'm not anti.
Okay.
Just
Well,
anti Kubo.
Sometime in 2026, the new He-Man movie, Masters of the Universe, is coming out. I'm very excited. Brooks, what is your coming attraction?
Well, I was having a hard time deciding on one, but then because you went with your live action remake, I think I'm going to as well. With Bambi, The Reckoning.
What?
Which just looks completely redonkulous and amazing. And it's from the Poonaverse, so we know what to expect. It's going to be big, dumb, and gory, and it's going to be hilarious.
It won't surprise anyone listening to hear that I knew nothing about this. This is a complete shock to me that it's even happening. I'm going to immediately look up the trailer. Is there a trailer?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, there's a trailer.
I'm going to look that up as soon as we get done. When does it
Everyone look it up.
When does it release, Brooks?
Looks like it's slated for July.
Okay, so July of this year. Mine is Masters of the Universe, doesn't come out until 2026. And yours, Adam?
Mortal Kombat 2, which looks like it's slated for October of this year.
That's going to do it for this episode of Big Movie Mouth Off. Before we go, I want to harken back to something Adam said 20 minutes ago, which is that we're getting more listeners every time we release an episode. If you love us, and I know there are some of you out there that do, please tell your friends. We really want to take a big leap this year in terms of our listenership and do all the things that all podcast people tell you to do too. Rate us, review us, talk about us on iTunes and wherever you get your podcasts. But by far, the best thing you could do is tell people about us, because I think we are poised, guys, after 37 episodes for a big leap, and I want it to happen this year.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, and it's what I love about this is it's just fun. Like even people who don't listen to podcasts who have told me like, oh, I heard an episode. And it was actually like, we liked it. And it always goes back to what do they like best? The guilty pleasures. We could just do a show of nothing but guilty pleasures. And I'm sure it would, go crazy, but.
Oh, wait, we already did.
We did that once. We have to let it out slowly. We don't want to give too much of it away. I was just recently talking to one of our super fans, and he's the son of one of my best buddies from college, and he listens to it the minute it comes out. And he pointed to a Blu-ray he had sitting on top of a stack, and he said, "Look at that." And it was Baron von Munchausen, which was my fake nose guilty pleasure from several episodes ago. So please help us out. Tell your friends. Get us more listeners. Big Movie Mouth Off is poised for a big growth spurt this year, and you can help us. So thank you in advance. We'll be back in a couple of weeks to talk about more films and, of course, do more guilty pleasures. Until then, I'm Jeff Counts.
I'm Brooks Bird.
And I'm Adam McDonald.
Thank you for being with us. Big Movie Mouth Off was produced and edited by me, Jeff Counts, and co-hosted by Adam McDonald and Brooks Bird. Our theme music is written by Brian Z. Richards, and this show is dedicated to the memory of our founders, Jeff Michael Weiss, and my partner in crime for over 5 years, the incomparable Jimmy Martin.